Hey, what's up? It's James. I'm going to go over a little bit more in this journal about some early childhood stuff, and then wrap that up and move into like elementary school. So first off, this is when I was 5 years old in Singapore, and I was sleeping in bed. And then I think I like asked my dad for a story or something, or I was having trouble falling asleep. I'm not sure which one, but he started taking some of my stuffed animals, and I had like a huge collection. A huge collection. I don't know if it was from like those claws where you can kind of pick up those claw machines. Basically, when I was 5 years old, there was one night where my dad decided he would take the snowman and the raccoon and make like this story out of it. The snowman and raccoon eventually became like the mascots of, or like the team leaders of this whole small little group of stuffed animals I had. And he would tell stories about them like every night or like every other night for years until I was probably like maybe like 10 years old. The snowman was really big and fat, right? The raccoon, so they were hanging out one day, and for whatever reason, the raccoon like gave the snowman a hug, or he like ran up to him, something like that. And because the snowman's stomach was so big, the raccoon like bounced off his stomach and then flew like to the other side of the room. That was absolutely hilarious when I was a kid. I just couldn't stop laughing. I don't know, he probably put like a sound effect in there or something of like the raccoon bouncing off the snowman's stomach. But that just absolutely got me, and much thanks to like all those stories. And then we brought in like a moose. I had some Pokemon. I had dinosaur. I had this monkey that was dressed in like a USC outfit. That was what I looked forward to at night. Or like these stories my dad just made up like out of nowhere. And I don't know how he did it so many times, but it was definitely a joy for me when I was a kid. And the coolest thing was I got to bring in my cousins Michelle and Cheryl, because those are my two closest cousins in Singapore, at least in age, because Michelle's 2 years older than me. Cheryl's the same age. She's 10 days younger than me. They came over to sleep over one time. There was like this Barbie truck or something. Like it was a pink car, and I remember like Ken might have been in there. I don't know. And, my dad told a story with the truck, like the car, and my snowman and stuff, and all of us were laughing. All three of us were just laughing because he basically, this was before all three of us went to sleep, and we were just like having a great time. So yeah, also like special shout out to Michelle and Cheryl. I still love them, and hopefully I can get to see them. I don't get to see them too often, but you know, hopefully I get to see them soon. They live in, or Michelle's in New York right now studying, and I think Cheryl's in Australia studying. So, but I forgot. I gotta look something up real quick. Okay, I found it. So this is gonna be about Deneulian, which it took me so long to find what was this called. It's a style of writing and teaching cursive and manuscript handwriting for English. It is derived from the Palmer method and was designed to ease the learning of manuscript and cursive writing. So this Deneulian writing style was taught in the Singapore elementary schools, or at least in the Singapore American school, where I studied for between the ages of 5 and 6, like basically kindergarten and first grade, or first grade. And then I basically did like the second half of first grade again, because when I came back from Singapore to live in America, they were on a different like school schedule, right? So in this class, in my first grade class in America, I would write in this like semi-cursive writing style. So it's like, it's not cursive, but it's not plain print. It's like in the middle. And the teacher asked me one time to like go up and show the class how to write it, and I think like I totally bombed it. Like I was trying to I wish I could have gave a better demonstration, but she was like, ask us how to do this and that. I think the K came out really cool because I know when you write, normally when you write a K, it's just like that, or I should do it like opposite way, I guess. But yeah, but in Danilian, you go down, it's like cursive. You kind of go down and then do the loop and then come down. So I would write, all my prompts in first grade that I got like this. So then I had to go up and show the class one time, like, how to write it. So that was like a special moment for me as a first grader, I guess, to kind of like share that somewhat difference in teaching culture and over in, I'm not sure if it's like more popular in the British education. But anyway, another story from first grade, American first grade, was like our punishment, man. Like we would have to sort beans if we ever got in trouble. And I like it was a horror, like if you had to sort the beans, like you really got in trouble. And there was one time there was a fire alarm, and we would have to go out to the grass. It was like a drill, a fire drill. And all the classes had their own line. And I think I was just making noise and I couldn't stay in the line. I had trouble standing in the same spot for too long, I guess, in a line. And I had to sort the beans because of that. And I remember the first time I did it, I was like, hey, this isn't too bad. It's kind of fun. Because, like, I mean, they give you like a big mix of different kinds of beans and you have to put them in the right place. And, but like, people were scared of it. Like, they didn't want to sort the beans. And you know what? Maybe it's more effective than beating kids. I don't know. But yeah, I think it worked. And the other thing that, like, I don't know, a lot of times in my life, I just always felt like I did things differently, or I knew something, or I thought in a way that was a little bit different. But it could have also just stemmed from things like the Danilian writing style that I brought up. And then the other thing was, like, during the summertime, my mom would basically make me memorize my multiplication tables and my state capitals. And this was in first grade, and we didn't learn that till like third grade, and then the state capitals were like fifth grade, right? So in first grade, I knew my multiplication table up to 12, and that gave me like a really big head start. Shout out to my mom for forcing me to learn multiplication tables in the summertime. But I remember, like, the math book, our first grade math book, I did it too fast. There was one time where we had to finish a couple of segments in our math book, and I just ended up doing like half of the book. It was just ridiculous. It just felt too easy, I guess. But also, like, I had fun in the summer sometimes. Like, I did some sports camps. I did like basketball camp, and then one really cool camp I really loved was the Dodgeball camp. And I had this nickname. I was like the Sidewinder because I threw it really weird. I always threw the ball, like, I would turn and then I would, like, so, and then, like, I would just dodge balls by, like, shifting my body. This is one of the games we played on the playground during recess time, but we called Dodgeball Nation Ball, because for us, Dodgeball was when, at least in school, it was when there was a big circle and everyone stood on the outside of the circle and, like, threw their ball into the circle and try to hit the people inside, basically. And then, like, if you got hit, then, yeah, I'm not sure if, like, you joined the other people on the outside, so it just got harder and harder to dodge the balls, or if they, like, keep the teams equal. But Nation Ball is, like, you might be more familiar with that. It's on a basketball court, and then you take turns kind of throwing the ball back and forth, try to hit the other player. If you catch it, you can, like, bring one of your teammates in who already got out. So in this version of the Dodgeball, you actually had your team on both sides of the court. So the ball would go this way, and then if you missed it, their opponent team could catch it and then try to get you out from the opposite side. So there was one time where like I dodged a ball coming from the opponent, and the other team catched it like immediately behind me and threw it, and I did this like crazy like Matrix thing where I just like went back, and I went so far back that my head hit the ground. So I basically fell down backwards, like with my knees bent, I guess, and then like. But like I still was able to get back up really fast, so I don't know what happened there, but it was just like hilarious, and I think the teacher was telling me to chill out because like I just went hard on the dodging. Other games that I was really fond of in elementary school was tetherball and handball. So tetherball is like there's like a volleyball attached to a string to a pole, to this tall pole, and then you have to get the ball around until the ball can't turn anymore, and then you have two people on both sides of the pole, and both people are trying to like hit the ball around in opposite directions from each other. And from like 1st to 3rd grade, that was like my favorite game, and I'd play with Harrison, who I mentioned in the second episode. And then another friend that I got very close with was Rashad. I'll probably talk about him in the next one, but we would play that game like all the time. And then from 4th grade to 6th grade, we played handball. That was like I actually prefer that game. And then for us, handball was hitting like this red bouncy ball against like they actually built walls for us. They built these brick walls for us that we could play handball on, and then I think this is like somewhat common across American schools, but you'd have like 4 people on the court, and then all the other kids that wanted to get in would wait in line on like one of the sides of the walls, and then when someone missed the ball, then they would get out, and the next person would come in, right, and they would be in the 4th place position. And then, so the 1st place position is the one who served it, and then the 2nd place person hits it, the 3rd person hits it, and the 4th person hits it who just got in, and then you basically try to make the other person not be able to hit the ball or not be able to bounce it before hitting the wall, because you have to make the ball bounce first before it touches the wall. And like people will come up with all different kinds of hits. There was the Hardy, the Smoky, the Rainbow. I can't even remember all of them, honestly, but like there were like so many different ways to hit the ball. And then like the Smoky one was also called like the slider, and you'd have to like hit the ball really low to the ground so that and really fast, so it would barely skim the ground and then come up to the wall at a really low height and then bounce back really low down on the ground at a very high velocity. And then it was really hard for you to go over to this really fast ball on the ground, and then you'd have to like either do the same kind of hit or like punch it down so it hit the ball and like came back up. So there's this one little there was one like shorter guy named Wilson, and he was like the best at these like smoky balls because he was like really tiny, and he would just like be really low to the ground and he'd like hit them really fast. It was like fun times. We'd have like tournaments, and like the school actually organized like tournaments for us for different classes to like play this game. During lunchtime, like there were other kids who actually played soccer. But for some reason, I think it was because it's such a team sport. And again, like I keep dropping my phone. I think because it was a team sport, I just could like never get into it. Although I played soccer, every year during this, or I guess I don't know if it was during It was during the fall actually where I played some. So every year I play, even though every year I played soccer, like in the AYSO, the youth organization outside of school, like inside school, I just didn't have the guts or personality to like join a group of people and then like be on a team. I preferred either the handball where you're solo, or the tetherball where it's like a one-on-one game. So it was almost like in my mind, it was like the cool kids who had friends and knew how to like talk to each other. They would play soccer, and then people maybe like me who was kind of like a little bit more of a loner, or maybe had one or two friends, we'd play like other games or maybe like play tag or something. So there's like one other part of elementary school that I'll probably mention in this video, and that was like oral presentations that I absolutely hated. And I think this was my first exposure to oral presentations was in elementary school, and the first one was in first grade, and I had to present on an animal, and guess which animal I chose? This is like amazing. I chose the Bandicoot. Okay. The Bandicoot is a group of about 20 species of small to medium-sized terrestrial marsupial omnivore in the order of Paramelemorphia. They are endemic to the Australia-New Guinea region. Okay, so like basically I had to present on the Bandicoots, and obviously why did I choose Bandicoot? Because of Crash Bandicoot, my favorite video game at the time that I played like all throughout childhood and all this stuff. And like I think although this was my first presentation, it was like manageable because I was talking about my favorite superhero, essentially, which was like some sort of a rodent looking like mouse. And in my mind, it was this really cool orange, ninja like cool dude that can jump up and spin and kill all the bad guys. But it was a Bandicoot. So, and we had to talk about where it came from, like what it eats. It was really scary, but it was a joy at the same time. But after that, I completely hated it. I had to do one in second grade or third grade on Charlotte's Web, and I'm telling you, we had to do it for 5 minutes. Okay, a 5-minute oral presentation, memorized, right? I mean, I had to memorize my speech. How else was I going to talk? So like, that was just bad news because I had to memorize it. So then like, I would basically be nervous trying to like remember my words, and then I had to speak in front of a group, and I was just like shaking inside. And the worst thing was it was all filmed. Why in the world was it filmed? Okay, and they were on these giant cameras where you put a tape inside. So somewhere around, these tapes are still there, but who knows where that is, right? My mom would help me write like these speeches, and she'd help me like try to memorize these things, and I'd spend days like saying them, reciting them over and over again, and I absolutely dreaded it. And then when the day came, I'd be like, really, really nervous. I completely hated oral presentations. All right, I gotta head to dinner, so I'm gonna continue this on in another video. We're gonna continue on in more of like childhood. I got some more stuff to talk about in elementary school, some things that happen outside of school of like Chinese international students, with two girls that I was like interested in, I guess, in elementary school, and just because like that was kind of my first encounter with like attraction, I think, and I think it's kind of interesting. I'll be here in a bit talking about more childhood stuff. Peace.